He could have run. The door was right there. The whole town was already running toward the water to watch the burning ship, and he was one of the few men in Halifax who understood what that burning ship really was. He stayed at his desk. He picked up the telegraph key, and he started sending. This is the story of the 55 seconds before the largest man-made explosion the world had ever known, and the man who spent them saving strangers he would never meet. It is the morning of December 6, 1917. Halifax, Nova Scotia, a cold, busy wartime harbor on the edge of the Atlantic. The war in Europe is 3 years old, and this little Canadian port has become one of its beating hearts. Convoys gather here before crossing the ocean, ships full of troops, supplies, and munitions. The harbor narrows into a tight channel. They call it the Narrows, and on this morning, 2 ships are moving through it at the same time. One is the Imo, a relief vessel, empty, running late, moving faster than she should, pushing down the wrong side of the channel. The other is the Mont Blanc, and almost no one in Halifax knows what the Mont Blanc is carrying. Below her decks, packed tight, are nearly 3,000 tons of high explosives, TNT picric acid, benzene stacked in drums on the deck above. She is not a ship. She is a floating bomb the size of a city block. The 2 vessels see each other too late. Whistles blast across the water. Both crews try to turn. But you cannot stop thousands of tons of steel in a few seconds. And the Imo's bow grinds into the side of the Mont Blanc. The impact itself is small, a scrape, a crumpled hull. But the collision throws sparks, and it topples the drums of benzene on the deck. Fire. The crew of the Mont Blanc know exactly what is beneath their feet. They know there is no fighting this. They abandon ship, rowing for the far shore as hard as they can, screaming warnings that no one on land can understand. And the Mont Blanc, burning, unmanned, drifts slowly toward the Halifax waterfront and comes to rest against a pier. Now picture the town. A burning ship in the harbor is a spectacle. Black smoke, orange flame, columns of colored fire from the chemicals below. It is the most exciting thing anyone has seen in months. So they come to watch. Workers stop on the docks. Children press their faces to schoolroom windows. Families crowd onto their porches on the hillside above the water. Thousands of people, drawn toward the most dangerous object on the planet, because it is beautiful, and because they have no idea. Almost no one knows, but a few men do. A message has begun to move through the port. This ship is a munitions carrier. This ship is going to explode. And in a small wooden railway office near the waterfront sits a train dispatcher named Vince Coleman. His job is the trains, the tracks running along the shore in and out of the Richmond railway yard right beside the burning ship. A sailor runs to his office with the warning, shouts it, and keeps running for his life. Coleman and his chief clerk get up to run too, and then Coleman stops. Because he remembers something. A passenger train is coming. An incoming train from St. John carrying around 300 people, due at the station any minute now, rolling straight toward the waterfront, straight toward the Mont Blanc. 300 people who have no idea the harbor is about to end. The safe thing, the human thing, is to keep running. The door is open, the hills are close. Every second he stays is a second he might not get back. Coleman turns around. He goes back to his desk. He sits down at the telegraph key in a wooden room a few hundred yards from 3,000 tons of explosives that could go off at any instant, and he begins to tap out a message down the line. Hold up the train. Munitions ship on fire in the harbor, making for Pier 6. Goodbye. He knew what goodbye meant when he sent it. He sent it anyway. Down the wire, the message reaches other stations. Trains are stopped. Warnings spread along the line, from operator to operator, faster than any man could run. And in the office, Vince Coleman keeps his hand on the key. At 9:04 in the morning, the fire finally reaches the heart of the cargo, and Halifax disappears. The Mont Blanc detonates in a single, unimaginable instant. Nearly 3,000 tons of high explosive going off at once. For a fraction of a second, the temperature at the center climbs to thousands of degrees. A wall of pressure races outward faster than sound. The ship is vaporized. Her anchor shank, a piece of iron weighing over half a ton, is thrown more than 2 miles through the air. A cloud of black and white smoke climbs thousands of feet into the sky, a towering column standing over the harbor. It is the largest man-made explosion in human history to that moment, a record it will hold until the atomic bomb nearly 30 years later. The blast flattens the north end of the city. It snaps trees, tears roofs away, collapses homes and factories in a moment. A wave of water is sucked up and hurled over the shore. Nearly 2,000 people are killed, 9,000 more are injured. Whole families, the same families who had gathered to watch the pretty fire, are simply gone. The little wooden railway office is destroyed. And Vince Coleman is killed at his post, his hand near the key he refused to leave. But the message got through. The incoming passenger train was warned. It was slowed and held outside the deadliest ring of the blast. The 300 strangers Coleman stayed behind for, most of them lived. He traded the seconds he had left for the lives of people he would never see. In the weeks after, the world learned what had happened to Halifax, and one city answered louder than any other: Boston. Trains and ships loaded with doctors, nurses, blankets, and supplies rushed north through a blizzard, arriving while the ruins were still smoking. Strangers helping strangers, a whole city reaching across a border in the dark. Halifax never forgot it, and so, every single year since, Nova Scotia cuts one of its finest evergreen trees and sends it south to Boston. It stands in the heart of the city through December, lit in warm gold against the winter dark. Most people who walk past it just see a beautiful Christmas tree, but it is a thank you note over 100 years old for a night when the worst thing imaginable happened, and people ran toward each other. And somewhere inside that story is a man at a telegraph key who had every reason to run and chose to stay for 55 seconds so that strangers could live.